Hey everybody, welcome to the Mansion SMP interview number 6. Um of course it's, me interviewing again this time. So, what's up? Don't touch the light if you're not ready. Sigh. Okay. Hey everybody, sorry about those technical difficulties. Welcome to Mansion SMP number 6. Today we are doing interview for our very own Floofy, who is being escorted by our lovely Appledon. If you'll help me welcome Floofy to the stage.
Hello.
Hi,
Sorry,
how's it going?
I was trying to finish my sandwich.
Sandwiches are very pog.
Yes.
All right, how are we doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Had a fun
Okay.
day.
Yeah, fun. Um, so of course everybody here should know how this goes. For those of you who do not, we break up our interviews into 3 categories. The first one about the character, the second one about the lore, and the third one about their favorites. So, do you have any opening remarks before we get started?
The oogly boogly.
Very wise, very wise. Okay. My very first question for Mansion SMP Floofy's character is, give us a little description about your character.
So, SMP Floofy is basically a creation of a more minor god, not part of the Trinity. Uh, it's the god of like monsters and like harvest. He's most the god is most known as like Lord Harvest. Basically, no, basically SMP Floofy was created by this god because the god decided like fuck around, see what other monsters he can create. So Floofy's essentially a monster, but everyone thinks that Floofy is a hybrid because of how Floofy looks. Floofy is the chief of a village called Mania. It's a more remote village. It's not really influenced by others. It's very chaotic considering our residents. We got a cryptid owl. We got an elf and her child. It's just very wacky. The closest neighbors we have are the Forest Duo. So yeah, all run down.
All right. What were your inspirations for your character?
Not my main inspiration was the fact that I like bats. Yeah, SMP Floofy has bat ears, bat wings, though the bat wings are mainly the bat wings are on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's and also I just also inspiration came from like past servers I've been in. Uh, so inspiration for my character came like some of the backstory came from past servers I've been in, where I didn't get to do lore really in those servers. But I took the stuff I did in those servers and made it into my character's lore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You can reveal this if you want to. You can be as specific or as vague as possible. Um, it's whichever. How old is your character?
Floofy is quite young for like a creation of a god. Floofy is like about if I'm correct, the voice age is 257. I would have to recheck my lore doc, but 257 about that.
You're young like me, man.
Yeah,
It's hilarious. Like the younger you
Floofy
are, the more adult you are.
Floofy's a very young creature, though. The boy is more acquainted like with human antics than Owls is.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly just because of lore reasons.
Right, right. Like I know a lot of different people on here age differently, and that's of course
Oh,
that's their choice. I know
I
a
was
lot of
wrong about
people.
the age.
Oh,
I
what
was
was
wrong about
that?
the age. Not 257, 279. I just checked.
Eh.
279.
But I know some people who are like, I know some people who are a lot older, who are in like their thousands or whatever, but are only teenagers, or people who are aged normally, like say they're in their 30s and they are in their 30s, stuff like that. But it just kind of depends on the character and their species and all.
Yeah, but Floopy's a baby in terms of like how old Void can be. The Void still has a lot of like knowledge that still like the that like older creatures would have.
Right. So mentally you're an adult.
Yeah, more mentally like an older teenager.
Uh,
Not necessarily like an adult yet. Not mentally adult yet, but that may change in the
maybe.
future for lore.
That is for the viewers to experience. All right. The last thing in our character category is what are your relationships that you have so far that you have planned?
Okay, so relationships so far. Well, my character has like owls, and then lacking are inhabitants of my village. So currently, those are and then lacking's child. Those are the three relationships, the three main relationships I have currently. And then like I'm acquainted with Florastu because of their proximity to the village. Future future relations, amongology definitely is good. I plan to have lore with like Loom and Hat and Penny.
All
Other
right.
people's lore I think that's all I can like all I have so far in terms of relations.
All right. Is there any closing remarks you have about your character before we move on to the second category?
My character is just my character has lore. Like I mentioned earlier, that my character understands like humans more than owls does, because Loopy generally has been around like a lot of like hybrids and humans. The first like years of Floofy's life, Floofy spent as a hermit, which I'll explain more later, for because one of the questions later on will be better to answer that. But Floofy was a hermit for like the first like 70 years of Void's life.
Yeah.
And then and then after that, Floofy just stuck around like people, made friends and such, and made a lot of villages. Mania is not like the first village that my character has like tried to make and become a chief to. This is like the fourth village? The third village, sorry. This is like the third village that my character has tried to create. The other ones failed for different reasons that are not necessarily specified.
Oh, cool. All right, so we are now going to move on to the second category, which is your lore. And by the way, our lore does start this Saturday at noon EST, so viewers make sure to come. Members, make sure if you would like to be there, you can, but there's no specific time, just any time after noon is when you can log on, and it's an all-day thing and will go on until the end of season 1. So, okay. Can you give us an overview of your lore at the moment?
So, overview. When Floofy was first created, Voy wandered a lot. Floofy was like a nomad for a couple years. Settled in a jungle where Voy found an abandoned blood god temple. And that is when Floofy became a hermit. Floofy decided to dedicate some years trying to what's the word? I can't. God, words are hard. What? Tried to like rebuild the temple and like just dig it out and rebuild it. Floofy spent like a good 60 some years doing that. It was very tedious work, and my character is very distractible, so they got like about like halfway to trying to rebuild the temple before Floofy decided to go on a new journey, and that's when Floofy started meeting people. And it's after like some years at a hermit, you gotta get bored. You gotta get bored, and Floofy's the more a social bats are like social creatures, I believe. So like so Floofy like set off to like find people, make friends. Cause like the whole time that Floofy was a hermit, Floofy only met like one person who would like regularly come like visit and like check out the temple progress. So
Cool.
then Floofy started making villages. And for each of the villages that Floofy created, Floofy had a friend that who was our co-chief for these villages. But for Void's co-chief for the villages. They together like they built and they gathered, they built up their villages, brought more people in. And then each village had failed for one reason or another. And then when Floofy was on another journey with Void's friend, tragically something happened and the friend was lost. So the friend was lost and Floofy went into kind of like a century of just emptiness. For a century, Floofy just kind of like wandered very empty. Just don't, just wandered around, not just aimlessly, not really doing anything, just mind blank from like grief. And at the end of the 100 years, Floofy started the Village of Mania.
Cool.
Village of Mania has been going like not very long, but Floofy met owls and like built a village. Like found the tree, built like a village around. Because to try and like mostly it was trying to like bring Voight's out of grief and try to carry on Voight's friend's legacy.
Yeah.
So that's what we're up to now and more.
Okay. Next question, one that I've asked everybody in the past, even before our new format. What was going through your mind when you were writing your lore?
Well, I wanted to connect the past SMPs I've been in to the Mansion SMP. I want to try and incorporate that stuff into my character's lore. So when the SMP first started, like I had already planned on, before we even decided we were gonna do lore, I had already planned on like making another village. So I just incorporated the past villages I made in other SMPs and just added it to my character's lore here.
Cool. All right. My next question for you is, who in the SMP do you have lore planned with, and how connected is yours with theirs?
Well, I have lore planned with Loom, definitely. Loom. I have lore planned with Loom, and I plan to have more lore planned with the Amongology Empire, because that's going to be the main ally of the Village of Mania.
Cool.
Then I have lore, of course, planned with like the residents of my village. Got lore planned with owls and lacking.
How connected is your lore to all of theirs?
Well, as I was like stating in his interview, like our lore is like pretty connected, just because in another dimension, I'm his wife. So our lore is pretty connected because of how our characters are. Amongology, because like they're gonna be the main ally of my village for like if any lore stuff happens. They are gonna be like the main influences if the Village of Mania decides to like go into like decides to engage in just any villainy stuff, I guess. Any combat.
Interesting. Okay. Tell us a little bit about your home and your village. You did already go into a little bit of detail earlier, but like, how about your house? How about like the community there and everything?
So I'm currently rebuilding my house, but it's a very like high in magic place because of the residents of the village. I mean, you got an elf, a cryptid, and a monster. So it's a place that's very high in magic and not very influenced by other villages or by just like other people, really. We're the main thing with the village is like it's large farms.
Yeah.
It's large farms, and then it's like high in magic. I like that joke piece. I like that joke.
Very nice, very nice. What are your plans for your new house, if you don't mind me asking?
So my new house, because each of the house like in the village like reflects the characters. Like Lackings is like nice, homey, lots of like plant life around it. That's
Yeah.
and like Owl's tree is like giant and magical. And then
Yeah.
my house basically reflects kind of how Floofy is just a like a monster created a monster that like has a lot of magic. So
Yeah.
adds like a lot of like amethyst, just like dark colors.
Ooh. Amethyst is very
Uh,
satisfying to walk
well,
on.
I want to see if I can find the picture. Yeah, it's made of like dark stone, amethyst. It looks very dungeon like, I guess, from the outside.
Ooh.
That's the best way I can describe it.
All praise for the amethysts in the chat. Okay. Well, that sounds pretty interesting, and I can't wait to see it when it's done. My next question for you, it's probably a no, but are you connected with any of the Holy Trinity?
So the only one I'm connected with is the Blood God, and it's like a very like small connection
Right.
due to like when my character was a hermit, Voy like was like rebuilding that Blood God temple. But other than like that small period, Floofy doesn't really have any connection to the Holy Trinity. I mean, the Blood God temple is close to the village.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like you take a few minute walk and end up
yeah,
at your guys' villager trading halls.
yeah. It spooked me when I first saw it because I was just flying around. Suddenly, just it was there.
It did kind of spring up.
Yeah. So, like, small connection to like Blood God, but other than that, Floofy doesn't really have any connection to the Holy Trinity. Voy is very connected to Void's God.
Right. And that makes sense. That's
'Cause-
why I was kind of like,
Yeah,
maybe not.
yeah. Void is basically Void's the god's precious child. There were like creations like her before. Void is basically like the baby of all his creations.
Uh,
Like so, youngest child syndrome.
oh, fun times.
Yeah, Floofy kind of has youngest child syndrome. A baby.
Baby. All right. My last question of the lore category is what part of lore, like specifically lore, are you looking forward to?
Hmm. I'm looking forward to like among the making among just becoming allies with Amongology because I would just I'm very excited to do lore with them. And
Cool,
I'm
cool.
also excited for like if any like what's the word? Confrontations pop up between different people in lore.
Oh, I
Floopy's a very passive. My character is very passive aggressive, like very
I
much
didn't
teetering,
have
very much teetering on the edge of willing to fight a bitch.
I'd imagine you would find the court cases that Judge Kata is going to be ruling over. I imagine you would probably go to those just to be entertained by everything that's going on, honestly.
Yeah, that's Floofy doesn't interact with much of the other server, but definitely court cases would be Void's entertainment for Void.
That's your movie theater.
Void's just like always teetering on the edge of like willing to fight. But the only way that Void would fight was if Void was influenced by allies. So future allies being the Amongology Empire.
Cool. Anything more you would like to add before we move on to the final category?
Oh, a little bit about Floofy's god. He's mainly known as like Lord Harvest because of the harvest part of his domain. All his other half of the domain being monsters. He created like different creations before, like I said, like Floofy's the baby of all his creations. And like Floofy's like very connected with him, and he doesn't have like many. He doesn't prefer to have like temples and such. He's a more like background god, just likes to watch. Yeah, very suspicious. It's not a god that likes to play nice. He does have followers, but he does have followers. What? Just does have followers, but they don't really do extravagant things and build temples like you see with the Holy Trinity.
Oh, okay.
The goddess says it has made many children.
Okay. Okay, moving on. No, more with that. Okay. Last category. Are your favorites, and this is mainly just about you and not so much like your characters. Lou, stop. Okay, anyway, the first of the favorites is, what's your favorite part about lore or being on the SMP?
I don't really know. Honestly, don't really have an answer for that question.
I will.
Do we need to bonk some people?
I will disable chat. I will mute all of you. Apparently. Okay. Well, I guess my next question is, what is your favorite place on the server to be besides your village?
Owl's Tree or Hat's Temple.
Yeah, those are both pretty pog.
Yeah, I covered Hat's Temple in cake. Yeah, I love the tree. My character likes high places, so like the tree's like is one of like my character's happy places. Because Void just likes to like sit at the top and like look down at everything.
Ignore the chat. Just F1.
Yeah, Owl's Tree and then like Hat's Temple. Overall, like the Amongology Empire is just one of my favorite places. I love the buildings. Hat is a great builder.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
And my final question for this category is, whose lore are you looking forward to that's not necessarily connected to yours?
Plays the most.
Yeah, that's a very popular
Clays
person.
and owls.
Yeah.
I love how angsty Clay is making.
That seems to be a running thing in the servers.
Yeah.
We all love angsty characters.
Angst nom nom nom.
Well, what else do you expect with a server full of fic writers?
Yeah, but definitely like Clay's, and I like Owl's lore.
Yeah. All right. So that is maybe. Well, we'll get back to that. That is the last of my questions. Do you have anything else you would like to add before we move on to audience questions?
Oh, I plan on building a bat cave under my house just because I like Batman.
Very nice.
I'm
All right.
trying to think of anything else. I don't think I have anything else to add.
Alrighty. Well, that's all the questions I have. Our wonderful producer piece. We will now open up to audience questions.
And of course, the first question is from Serenity. Do you like waffles?
I do not like waffles. I am a pancake person.
Oh no.
I love cutting my pancakes up into bits, dipping them in syrup, and then dipping them in butter.
Oh,
That sounds really good.
oh no.
I will eat the occasional Eggo waffle, but I'm just not a big waffle fan.
Opie asks, how excited 1 to 10 for lore?
9.
Oh.
Opie asks, what was the hardest part of your lore to write?
The god. just trying to figure out the ins and outs of my god.
Opie asks, what was the inspiration for your Minecraft skin?
Okay, so my Minecraft skin, it differs from like my usual like Sona. My usual Sona is like vampire bat, but my skin, it's more inspired, like the ears and the hair, the ears color and the hair color are more inspired like the Barbacell bat. Like it's a like a very dark brown bat. So, and then like I just I just finished making the skin today, but the long hair, the long thick hair is supposed to like differ from my usual Sona. My usual Sona has like more light brown hair and shorter hair, and then like the long dark brown just gives it some difference. And then my character like wears like the blood red jacket. My character's color scheme is like supposed to like fit in with like my god.
Opie asks, fluff or angst for your character, what are you more excited for, and what do you have?
Character has like half of my character's like backstory is like angsty. I don't really have any like necessarily fluffy things planned except for like fluffy like possible like with the allyship of among ologies, there's gonna be like a little fluff because I mean making a new ally, making new friends, and then like of course some angst in the future, like when confrontations happen and conflicts.
Opie asks, are you a villain?
Not at the moment. Like as I said earlier, my character like is teetering on the edge of like wanting to fight someone. but I would only become a villain like if I was like pushed towards it. Crimes.
Opie asks, how did you come up with monster idea?
Monster idea. Originally, like, I had a completely different character lore before, but then I scrapped it all and now I have my current character lore. Before I was like just a hybrid. But then I was like, I wanted to do something like a little different. And I was thinking about like how like gods, like in Greek mythology, they like create like creatures. So then I thought, maybe because like Lord Harvest was always just like he always was like the god of like harvest and monsters. So I thought, hey, maybe I could be like a monster and be created by a god.
Opie asks, how many monsters and what's your favorite that you made?
The other ones aren't really fleshed out because they're not really important to lore currently. Not really important at all. It's just a fact about my character. But like currently, Floofy is the youngest out of like 13 siblings. 13 other monsters.
Opie asks, crimes?
Yes, crimes. Love crimes. Crimes.
Yes.
Opie asks, will we ever see another monster and do you think there'll ever be more?
The only way the other monsters would be incorporated into lore is if like they send my character like gifts and messages, which they bring like all of them to like keep in touch with each other through like messages and then like the occasional gift. There's an Enderman. There's an Enderman nearby.
I really like the studio.
It's an Enderman magnet.
They're fans. They're fans.
Opie asks, do you still talk with Harvest and is he friendly?
The Lord Harvest is friendly with some people, and like Floopy like regularly talks to him. Cause I mean, he is. Damn it! I almost got the Enderman. But like, yeah, Floopy regularly talks to Lord Harvest. I mean, he is like her parent. He is Void's parent practically. Like the only parent my character has like ever known.
Serenity asks, what are Floofy's feelings on hybrid and humans?
Floopy's a very like neutral person when it comes to like different creatures. Like doesn't hate anyone. Doesn't hate like creatures for being like those creatures. So like humans, hybrids, but Floofy vibes with all. She just the Void makes enemies. And one thing about Lord Harvest is that Lord Harvest does like the Amongology Empire because of their chaos.
Siren asks, how do you feel about chaos?
Love it. I mean, love it.
And Opie asks, in regards to Harvest again, are they humanoid or not, and will others see him in lore?
Harvest does like look like a human, of course, with like some monsters like characteristics. All of Floofy's siblings like look like hybrids, but they're all monsters. And in terms of like seeing him in lore, not directly. Like he would not directly interact with anyone other than his kids.
That is totally fair. Honestly.
Yeah, not very. Like, any interaction that anyone would receive from him would be through my character, like to pass on a message or to like give a gift.
Opie asks, is VeryFloofy kindish or rude?
Oh, Floofy is still like Floofy has like just gotten out of like a century of grief. Before Floofy lost Void's friend, Floofy was like a very kind person, very kind, loved interacting with people, loved like befriending people. Now, like because of like the death of Void's friend, Floofy's more like closed off to people, not really like interested in like interacting with others. Doesn't Not necessarily like rude, just like very neutral about people. Still like be civil to others, but also like I said, like Floofy's very teetering on the edge of like insanity and like just just villainy, I guess. Very just teetering on the edge of just like losing it.
So I take it that like with the whole like bad guys versus me storyline, I take it you're a little bit more.
You cut off there.
Oh, I take it you're like with the whole storyline with the bad guys out for like my head, you're gonna be a little bit more neutral to their side.
In terms of that, like my character's just more. My character's like very neutral towards you. Like unless like something happens like with the Amongology Empire, or like if like Mania is like directly threatened.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise,
That
just
is
very neutral towards you. Just like
that's
neutral
cool.
towards like everyone else.
That's a relief. Not everybody is out for my head.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
my character isn't necessarily out for your head unless something happens.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Then you
I
will
will
have
make sure
like
to
the
give
wrath
you
of a
gifts
god's
then.
creation after you.
I will make sure to give you gifts then. Like possibly bribe you or something. I know you're out for my head. I know you are. I know you are. And it's gonna work the first time.
Yeah, and Loom's gonna be the main influence if I am out for your head or not. I will say that.
Yeah. That's also in terms of like how all the seasons played out as well, I'm guessing. That's also fair. Bloom, that's also fair.
Alright,
Loom
Loom had
asks, because VeryFloofy is monster, does Voy have any weakness or things that aren't weaknesses that are to mortals, to normal?
weaknesses. Arrows. Arrows are very damaging. My character has a fear of pillagers because they shot Voy out of the sky once.
Ooh.
So whenever, and funny enough though, my character's main weapon is a bow and arrow and then an axe, but mainly bow and arrow. So yeah, Floofy takes a lot of damage when it comes like it's more weak to like arrows. And then like wings, like, Floofy's wings are like bat's wings. Like as long as like there's 35% of the wing left, Floofy can fly because like bats can fly with like holes in their wings.
Ooh.
So like take out Floofy's wings, then Floofy's pretty weak. It's more. Becomes like more like a normal like human.
That could make for some pretty nice angst in the future, man.
Yeah. The Floofy also kind of has like magic on Void's side. But like the wings. If Floofy loses Void's wings, then like magic and just like weapons are Floofy's defense. Also, Floofy has a cryptid protecting Void.
Yeah. That also makes sense. Oh.
And Floofy has a very scary cryptid on Void's side.
Woohoo.
Loom had another question. Yeah.
Opie is going to ask about wedding lore. Specifically, if you could give more about the wedding lore.
So owls and Floofy aren't married in this universe like they are in the other universe that Owls explained. They've only recently met each other because of Floofy creating the village. Owls said Owls very much sees Floofy from what Owls explained in his interview. Floofy is very much sees Floofy very much like his wife because he doesn't understand the difference of realities. Yeah, they haven't spoken yet. They haven't spoken yet. Yeah, no wedding lore yet. Nothing in terms of wedding lore yet.
Got any more questions from any of you guys? Hey, I was about to ask about our timestamp. Cool. Aw. If that's all the questions that we have, then is there anything else you'd like to say before we go?
Like Alice said in chat, Owls doesn't character Owls doesn't even know if they exist to Floofy. Floofy knows that they exist. They haven't spoken yet, nor has Floofy directly acknowledged their existence. Floofy knows that they're there. They've been around. Floofy has been around the tree. Yeah, but other than no. Yeah, other than Floofy building a village next to the tree. Not much relations at the moment.
All right, well, if that is all we have for today, I'd like to thank everybody in the audience for coming out and watching this interview live. We have such a great crowd, as always, who are all jumping and waving. Hello, hello. Say hello to YouTube. What? Oh. I got it. I got it. I got it. Oh, you got it. Okay. What's up? Okay. Anyway.
Woo, it wouldn't be a stream without one murder.
No signs.
Oh, I want to see what the sign says.
Okay. So, okay,
My
thank
sign
you
now.
everybody for coming out. Thank you once again, Peace, for being an awesome producer. And speaking of Peace, guess whose interview is next? Yep, we're letting Peace out of the hidey hole again to come up on stage. And this time it's Peace getting interviewed. So that's going to be this Friday, same time, 7 Eastern time. 7 p.m. Yeah. Not 7 in the morning. If you get up on 7 in the morning, we will probably say L. Just please don't do that if you don't have to. But anyway, so thank you guys, everybody who's watching. To everyone who's watching the VOD, thank you again, Owls, for being our lovely cameraman. And I guess we will see you guys at the next interview. Bye.